WWE's reportedly in talks to work with another major promotion in light of all this Forbidden Door stuff. Now, WWE has done this multiple times previously with Smoky Mountain Wrestling. They've done it with ECW. They've done it back in the territory days, doing special shows for Paul Bosch in Houston. They've done it previously before. You saw Bret Hart do shows for independent shows that were done for Terry Funk's retirement. So there's been a ton of times they've done it before, but here we go with the first story. WWE reportedly in talks with top promotion about possibly working together. WWE officials are reportedly in talks with MLW officials about working together. It was noted in the latest edition of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, WWE is not like the reputation that it has of not working with anyone in the modern pro wrestling world. Regarding MLW and WWE, the talks are along the lines of the old Evolve deal, or to a degree the ECW deal from the 1990s. The idea is to give some of the developmental guys who aren't working WWE NXT some work on TV. There's also the idea of WWE creating their own Evolve-like group as weekly streaming show, but this would allow the talents to work on actual TV and get some more exposure than on Peacock and the WWE network, and it also makes it seem like WWE is changing and modernizing. There's also an idea of alleviating the frustration of so many talents on the roster who signed with the company and then basically are never used, especially with the no NXT live events running right now due to COVID-19. There's also said that people see AEW having partnerships with New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, in AAA, and WWE wants to make it look like they're not set in their old ways and uncooperative. Again, the Forbidden Door stuff, they've done it previously. Now, obviously, they're not going to show up on WWE television. It's going to be similar, like I said, the Evolve thing is similar to the ECW thing, like how they had Jerry King Lawler over there, but I don't think they're going to show up on their show and do that type of like invasion style stuff that they did in the mid 90s with ECW and the whole Jerry Lawler stuff. So I don't think they'll go that far, but I just think they'll have, certain guys from NXT show up over there on MLW television, give MLW a big, spot having WWE guys on their show, but that's pretty much it. They're not going to go any further than that. Whatever the optics of it look, I mean, people say that about WWE, but I'm working on a video right now about that. The WWE's done this before, and they're not shy of it. They just know how to do it. They do it more in a sense of, I'm gonna give you the spot. I'm gonna give us the spotlight by using you. I'm not gonna give I'm not gonna have you get the spotlight by using me. So that's the way they tend to work. Look at Chris Jericho. He shows up on the WWE network just to get people to come and watch it. He doesn't show up on Raw. He doesn't show up on that. That thing's not being put on USA Network or anything like that. It's put on the network because it's going to drive subscribers to that. So what he wants people to show up on MLW, he may have some MLW stuff show up on the network. He's probably in the end trying to get that library in the end of MLW to have it on the network. It's probably what it is. All about the bottom line. He's not going to really give you the time of day when it comes to you promoting your stuff on his television show. What he's going to do is get people to go over there, so you're carrying WWE banner going over there. MLW fans see WWE guys there, all that, and then most likely you'll be on the network eventually with the library of all the MLW stuff. That's pretty much it. That's how this is going to work out. I'm pretty sure that's how this is all going to happen. Smart businessman, Vince McMahon knows exactly what he's doing. The next story here. Fans call for Ryback to retire in mass numbers as he claims fraudulent votes in survey. This is a funny one because he got ratioed here. Ryback recently asked fans what he should do next. They told him that he should retire, and he didn't like those results, so he asked again. The second time didn't turn out too well either. The big guy dropped a poll on his Twitter on April 15th to ask where he should go next. AEW, NXT, and Impact Wrestling were the options. Another choice was retire, and 44.8% said that he should quit the business. There's the poll right there. 44.8%, the closest one being AEW 31.7%, lowest being Impact. Ryback didn't like the results of the survey at all, so he asked again in 2 weeks later. He also got the first survey for being plagued with fraudulent votes. Due to fraudulent votes from the last poll we have to redo where you want to see Ryback return. This has nothing to do with FMM Nutrition, and this is the official vote. It can greatly impact my future, so don't vote retire. The results from the second survey came back even worse for Ryback. Now 68.6% fans of the surveyed think he should retire. He still has to survey up, and he's taking more votes. We have to see how everything turns out. Over 12,500 fans took to that second survey. This is the results of the second survey. Even worse. I mean, WWE's instead of NXT just put there, it's almost close with AEW, and again, impacted in the 7% range. 68% of this, it says retire. So you got ratioed hard. People are messing with him. Ryback, controversial guy in wrestling. A lot of people don't like him. So yeah, there you go. He got ratio to hell. I mean, this is tough when you put that option. Why would he put the option of retiring? He technically already is kind of retired, right? He doesn't really do anything in wrestling anyways. So why put that? Makes no sense. You're just looking to get ratioed in that aspect. People are going to troll you if you're going to put retire there and you're not the most popular guy in the world when it comes to wrestling. It doesn't make a ton of sense. Let's get to the last story here. I got a quick video for you guys. Eric Bischoff says nobody gives an F about the Impact Wrestling and AEW relationship. This is a hot take right here, which I do agree with for the most part. Bischoff talked about the rumors of Jim Ross and Paul Heyman having talks with TNA circa 2010, 2011. You know, whatever. He talks about that, Paul Heyman and them, rumors of them joining over there and all that stuff like that. Here we go. Bischoff was asked about his thoughts on tonight's Impact pay-per-view title versus title with Kenny Omega versus Rich Swann and the working relationship between the two companies. I don't watch the Impact product. I just can't. I just leave it at that. Nobody does give a F. I guess it's presumably some kind of benefit to Impact to have talent from AEW come over and participate on their show. Nobody cares. Nobody's going to watch it. I'm sure the action is good. I'm sure there's some great matches. I don't watch it, but I'm guessing there's some great matches that take place. If you're a fan of it, great. But step back, take your fan hat off, put on a business hat and go, okay, well, why does this matter? How has it been performing? Who has benefited in terms of numbers? How has this benefited anybody? Or is it really diluting AEW in particular, in my opinion, and not really helping Impact? Because when the AEW component of this eventually goes away, if indeed it does, I'm assuming it's going to stop at some point. What do you have left? Less than you started with, because you've been building your brand around something that's only temporary. I get it. I understand why they did it. I understand why they're thinking what they're thinking may have been. I don't know. I have no insight. But if the thought process was, well, look, they're on TNT, 750,000 viewers at a time. Now they're up to 1 million. AEW, kudos to them for that. But if you're Impact and you're delivering 130,000 viewers a week, which is basically a YouTube video, and you have an opportunity to get your product and your brand on a much higher profile network with 4 or 5 times the audience that you have, why wouldn't you do that? I get that. There's nothing wrong with that logic, but what has the dividend been so far? How have Impact ratings gone up week after week? Okay. It's an interesting take he takes the business aspect point of it, right? Is it really benefiting either of them? Is AEW gaining viewers because of this? No, they're gaining viewers because there's no competition and you're not splitting the fan base, right? That's what AEW's benefiting from. They're not benefiting whatsoever from Impact. Obviously, you can tell they're not, and they don't think they will. That's why they don't promote it whatsoever on their show. They don't have the Impact titles on their show. They don't really have any other Impact wrestlers on their show. They had Kenta show up one time from New Japan Strong. You know, I was in Florida, so I was in the area. And then you have the Good Brothers. That's it. You have nothing else. Anybody who has shown up on the opposite brand has been on Impact. You know, whoever from AEW's shown up on Impact, and that's it. And they don't promote it whatsoever. They don't show highlights of it. When it was on Tuesdays, Dynamite's on Wednesdays, they weren't showing highlights of what happened on Tuesday, right? None of that. They weren't showing any of that. So obviously they see no benefit from it. They're just trying to help out, I guess. Kenny Omega, maybe give Kenny Omega a big spot by having him collect all the titles. The only thing you can see from him. Impact themselves, they need to have their guys present and accounted for on AEW for it to even help them. It's not going to help them if Kenny Omega goes over there. It's not, because most people don't know what channel it's on. Most people don't even care about Impact in general. Who's their champions? Who you know, who's running the show? Who's the top guys? A lot of people don't really care because they don't have the viewership of that. So the rub needed to come from Impact showing up on AEW, not vice versa. That's the impact you need to have. You need AEW to really promote Impact, to make it feel like it's a show you should go and watch. You should go watch our guys be on that show. That's why I think this whole thing has been a disaster. You know, I'm making a video about this too as well. The problem with AEW, and this is one of the main things. The fact that they're not looking at it in the sense of what I need to do to make everything I'm doing be meaningful and be must-watch television. Okay, you could have done an invasion type of angle or something like that. Have these guys from Impact show up on AEW and cause some commotion, cause some chaos, not the other way around. You have to make it so that they show up on Dynamite to get you intrigued to go watch Impact. Now Impact's on Thursdays. perfect. You set up the thing on the biggest show so that it forces you and makes you want to watch the smaller show the next night. They're not doing that whatsoever. They acknowledge it not one bit. So it's a disaster. It doesn't make any sense. Bischoff is totally correct on this. Nobody's gonna benefit from this other than Kenny Omega. Is gonna have that notch on his belt where he had all these titles at one time. That's the only thing you're gonna get from it. Nothing else. It's a bad look for AEW. It's a bad move by AEW. And Impact is just, they're a smaller company, so they're trying to do whatever they can. I don't blame them. I don't blame Impact whatsoever. I do blame AEW for not trying to focus on Impact more on their show. It's not the right move to make. Nobody's going to come out beneficial in the end. Nobody's viewership is going to go up due to this. So it doesn't make a ton of sense. But they still have time to go with this whole Forbidden Door and how they'll continue the relationship working with Impact. But that's the video I have for you guys today. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Remember to drop a like on this video. Helps out with the YouTube algorithm. Promotes our videos out there. Hit the chair in the corner before it hits you first and subscribe to the channel. Notification when you guys learn new videos drop. Stay tuned for tonight, Friday night, SmackDown. Our review coming out after the show. Got some good stuff planned for you for this weekend. So stay tuned for those videos that are dropping this weekend. Some special videos I'm coming out with. And if it doesn't work, better, don't do the job.